channel and click subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you never miss out from in-depth coverage of education, business insights, to the latest in sports. We bring you the stories that matters the most and news that shapes our nation. GMEB TV, bringing the God.
Hello wonderful viewers, my name is JAWNEH. I'm excited to welcome you all to my first show of the Journey to Success. Today we'll be diving into a crucial topic, which is the initial steps to success. Today, my guest here today is AMADOU, who embodies dedication and perseverance. AMADOU is currently working as an Assistant Communication Officer at GFF. AMADOU has shown incredible resilience and commitment in his career journey. Today, we are eager to hear from you, AMADOU, and we can't wait to hear your inspiring story and learn from your experience. Welcome, AMADOU.
Well, thank you very much, HAWA. That was quite a touching tribute, to be quite honest. I am happy to be here, and thanks to you and the management of GMEB for having me here. It's a pleasure to be here. It's my first time on this platform. I hope it won't be the last. I just want to say keep it up.
Thank you, Uncle AMADOU. And I will be asking you a few questions, which is, my first question is, what are the initial steps you took on your career journey?
Well, I must say it has not been an easy journey. As young as I may look, I still fall under the youth definition of the country. 34 years, and I should be 35 by December 29th of this month. And a lot of people would say, no, but you look like 20 something. But then, yeah, that's it. But yeah, it has never been easy. I had so many falls. I had so many downs. I am still learning. I am still growing. But yeah, that is what the definition of life is all about. It's about being able to overcome the downs and, of course, also embracing the ups when you have them. So I've been experiencing those moments to where I am today here. So I'm looking forward to having a detailed conversation with you. But first, let me share this with you. When I graduated school, before even graduating in 2008, I was enrolled in primary school at Sangajor Basic Cycle School in 1998, where I did only 4 years in primary school. I skipped 2 classes because then you're hungry, so help me to skip, he's a fuller, skip him and let him keep going. So I was that kind of person that actually didn't undergo any kindergarten or nursery school. It was primary 1, straight primary 3, straight primary 5, and then we, unfortunately, the last batch to do how do they call it again, the primary 6, there's this examination that they call it, I forgot the name actually, but I was a batch before them. So I happened to be the head boy in my primary school. I happened to be the head boy in my upper basic. I was the first class for Sangajor to transition from a primary school to a basic cycle school. And then I left Sangajor in 2004. Then I was so passionate about football, playing soccer, and I was very playful during my junior school days. So my dad would beat me, and when I was going to Fatima Senior Secondary School, I actually chose Nusrat in 2004 to pursue my high school education. But because the Madeguron Bopa, and I was so playful in all my results throughout my primary and junior school, you would see a teacher's remark would indicate AMADOU is intelligent, but playful. So the but playful you would always surface. And my father, was approached and said and told, you know what, and he's going to go astray. So please take him to Buyam. So I remember I was 2 weeks late during the enrollment at Fatima because there has to be that communication between the 2 principals, Mr. Bojang then at Nusrat and Mr. Gomez in Fatima, to see how my enrollment would be shifted from Nusrat now back to Fatima. So in essence, that is where I started taking education very serious because as a result of the motivation from my father to leave everything that has to do with jokes and focus on the education until I graduated as the deputy head boy in Fatima as well in 2008.
Wow, that is such an inspiring story at the initial, as I asked, as the initial stage of your journey. And the second question is, what motivates you to start? What motivates you to start, and what makes you think that you definitely need to make changes?
That is actually a crucial question, and it came at the right time. After graduating in 2008 as a deputy head boy, the entire school looked up to me, including my colleagues, the staff, the administration, even the community that I come from. I am a native of Sangajor, born in Sangajor, raised in Sangajor, but my entire education from senior secondary school and my marriage is all in Buyam. So that is where I reside now. So everyone looked up to me. But unfortunately, in my WAS result wasn't quite convincing. It wasn't good. And I know a lot of viewers, a lot of people have overcome that. And that is why I am here today. That these results should not determine the life that you are supposed to become. I mean, there should be an inspiration, a motivation to even get better. I would tell you in public that my WAS result was not good. But, and I was frustrated, I was desperate. I remember almost causing suicide. In fact, if you looked at that 2008 WAS result, I wish someday I come to school with it and show it to you. You would see a part of it is torn. I remember attempting to tear my result, and the then principal, Mr. David Gomez, held onto my hand and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "No, this is not me. I know my capabilities, I know what I can offer, and this is not me." So I believe when people say exam is not the best way to test one's intelligence, at that moment I believed that notion. So I was so frustrated, I cried bitterly, I went to the forest, and my community had to look out for me for the whole day. I remember coming back home around 8 p.m., 9 p.m. They met me at a quarry at the entrance of Buyam, lying inside a quarry. Imagine that trauma that I was going through, okay, digesting my result and all that. So now, what was the motivating force from that end? I came up across very good people, including my family and the teachers that said, "You know what? We know what you are capable of. We know what you can do. And we believe you. And we understand the situation that you're facing. This is not you. And this is not the definition of AMADOU Oba. You can still do better. Go for private WAS." And I looked around it, somewhere suggesting that I repeat, which was no option for me. And no, I can't repeat. And because at that point, my ego was telling me, no, you cannot repeat because your intelligence supersedes those that are coming before you. And that is ego speaking there. That is dangerous. Okay, I listened to my instincts, arguing with my ego. You know what? Go in for private WAS. You know what? Repeat. No, I can't repeat. So I went for the private WAS. I sat for the private WAS at Bottrop then, and Alhamdulillah, the following year, I came with flying colors, and I smiled and said, "Aha! Now I'm talking. This is me." From there, another thing happened. For 9 good years, I was not following my education, but in Buyam, doing something else.
Wow. So, Uncle Arms, I would like you to go further because you said you were in Buyam doing something else. And that is very powerful. And I want you to elaborate on that, please.
Interesting. I wanted to keep you in suspense to bring in that question, to provoke me. Because in 2008, after doing the private WAS in 2009, that same 2009, I came to Combo, and I remember working at an internet facility. Then there was no, smartphone to talk about Facebook or WhatsApp or all that. So internet cafes were rampant, around the Combos. So, and hardly you see them in province. It's only in Combos. So I was working in an internet cafe, which was owned by one of my brothers who was then working at Gamtel. Then Gamtel was super powerful. And, I served there for just briefly 3 months. Then I looked at myself, I said, no, man, open afi, I think I can do better. This is not me. So, at that moment, having to always reflect on yourself. That is why one of the key steps towards success is ensuring that you are able to set up standard, goals. They have to be clear, they have to be measurable. The SMART has to be there, S-M-A-R-T. Each one, has a meaning. So I looked at myself, I said I can do better. So I went to the secretariat at Westfield, Education Secretariat, and I applied. I reached out to one of my close relations, and I said, you know what, I think I want to at least teach for a few years or so. He said, you think you can do that? I said, yes. He said, submit your criteria. And I submitted my CV, including my result, and then I was eventually posted at St. Patrick's Lower Basic School, Kombo Da Silame, where up till now I meet some of my students, even at the university, at the School of Law, I meet some of them. And anytime one addresses me, Mr. Ba, I know, this one is from Dar es Salaam, I taught this one. So I taught for briefly just 1 year. But within that 1 year, I I was so proud of myself, of the achievements I've made in Kombo Dar Salame. I'm sure some of them must be watching. I established an association called the Youth Association Movement, sorry, YAM. And this is a group of young people that are innovative, that are creative to raise awareness and promote health. Because graduating from Fatima, I forgot to say that my result was bad because of the inconsistent, number of lecturers or teachers coming in and going out. So I was a pure science student. I was doing physics and chemistry. And until my grade 10, grade 11, we didn't have a chemistry teacher, no physics teacher until grade 12. So I sat for only 4 subjects in the WAS, and I credited only 2 and failed the 2. So you could see the lack of teachers or inconsistencies also played a part in my failure in that part. So when I came to Dar Salame, I taught for only 1 year, 1 academic year, 9 months. And I said, my salary was $904 per month, and because as an unqualified teacher. So I would take the $4, I would leave the $300 with my njatigi at Kombo Dar Salame, and then the $600 I would take it to my father, then who was at Kampan. Then I would hold the $4, and my father would tell me, you know what, take this. At least this is your first salary. I said, no, perhaps you decide. Anyway, so he'll give it to me, and we'll share amongst the family. It was until that moment that Buyam had the opportunity to establish a community radio under the Families Project, under Concern Universal. Now they call them United Purpose. It's an NGO here in the Gambia. So when they established this radio, because I was well known in Fonyi and in Buyam in particular, there was an option to call for AMADOU Oba. He is teaching or working somewhere else. So I was at home, and then my father called me and said, well, there are people that came here and they're asking for you. And I spoke with them, and they told me about the project, and I got inspired, and I said, yeah, I think the issues of radio communication is something that I want to see myself into. Then I quit education and went to Buyam Community Radio Station as a volunteer. So I was supposed to volunteer for 3 years, but I ended up volunteering for 4 good years, for 3 months rather. But that 3 months ended up accumulating to 4 good years. And during this volunteerism, I am not paid, not a dollar. You go on coverage, you are sent from Buyam to Kalaji or to Casamance to go and cover an event, and you come back home. I remember my first coverage. I'm sure at GMEB you may experience that. I took recorder. Then we don't have these digital recorders. We have this walkie-talkie, okay, Walkman they call it. Then you put in the cassette tape, and you go and click on double clicks, and then it will record. So my boss sent me on coverage to interview a mechanic at the Fita Garage. And I was very embarrassed on that day. And that is why I said, it's okay to make mistakes, even when you are live on TV. But the good thing about it is, how do you overcome that mistake? Could it be a learning point for you, a turning point for positivity? So to me, that was the first mistake I did in radio. And the second mistake was even more horrible. I went and recorded the entire hour, the entire cassette. And unfortunately, I was so inspired by what the mechanic was saying and all that. I was so excited. I said, oh, no, be it a mom chat. A mom, so coverage. That was my first coverage. I was very excited. I went back to the studio. I gave the Walkman to my boss. He played and like Ngelo Kesemgenyo. Rewind it, play again, like nothing was coming. He said, Ahmad, I hope you recorded it. I said, yes, Nabos, ngani record le. I fem fuji. Here ni alamu programo di atabak. And so it kept on, and nothing was coming. On the whole, I didn't record a single thing. Technically, I did blunders. And I was so devastated. My boss embarrassed me. He, humiliated me in front of the people there and said, you know what? And I can never forget that, because it's there. It takes in. And I would never make that mistake again. So that was the good thing about it. But I served as a volunteer, like I said, and I was not receiving anything until the second year. I started receiving $400 as my allowance every month. And then it started going like that. I was later employed as a staff, okay, in 2012. Then from there, I started, progressing from stage as a staff to a senior presenter in the studio, responsible for coverages and all that. Then I was promoted to the programs manager. Then in 2015, I was promoted to the radio manager to take care of the institution until 2019, when I resigned and came to GFF.
Wow. Thank you so much, Uncle Amadou. That's very inspiring. And you talk about believing your instinct. Can you please clarify that to the audience, please?
Yes, it's important whatever you are doing. You listen to people, but also listen to your instincts, listen to your guts sometimes. I said this because most of the times you tend to have that argument between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind in between. And sometimes it makes it difficult for you to make a decision which could potentially either make you or break you. And that was the stage that I was in. Like I told you, I faced a lot of criticism, lots of stigma, lots of bullying um, during the course of my stay in Buyam. And that is why I am delayed to attend the UTG. I would have graduated, or done my master's years ago, but I spent over almost 10 years in Buyam working at the radio station with the qualification of only a WAS certificate and a UQ testimony. So, of course, I attempted to study mass communication at Stratford College in 2009. Unfortunately, I was unable to complete or do my examinations. I did the entire course, but the examinations I couldn't do because I couldn't afford it, afford to pay. So that also comes to play. Support, if you don't have the support, it's always difficult. I faced a lot of stigma, I was telling you, during the course of my stay. I would meet friends and I would tell you, boy, from West Jambunela boy, university boy, you are still here. What are you doing here? And you might not know the impact of that to the person you are saying it, but when the person sits alone, it hurts. Okay, I faced moments where even my family would come on, question my reason of staying working for a radio station that is not paying you. And they would say, what are you still doing there? And you know, the funniest thing is, the little that I have, I am able to share it with people, but people are still, not content with it, and they still believe, yeah, maybe in a good way, they wanted to encourage me to pursue higher ambitions or higher aims. But that brings me to the next step in attaining success. Setting your goals and ensuring that you are clear about them, putting them into action. I believed in something. You need to be committed in whatever you believe in. If you believe that media working for GMEB will give me something experience-wise, please don't listen to any external force that is coming to you. Ensure that you are committed to doing it, not to impress people, but because of your passion and ensuring that you are determined to do it. So I was at that point where I needed to prove myself that, you know what, I made up my mind that I am going to serve my community, I am going to volunteer for my community, and I will stick to it. I don't care how much I gain, all I care is the impact I make on people. And I can confidently say it's on social media, and GMAV is quite followed. I have people that I inspired in UK, in America, and around the world that went through me. And I have most of them in the media setup that went through me, that I recruited during my days at Buyam Community Radio Station. And they will still text me or call me or on social media tag me and give credit or acknowledgement to the steps that I've done to encouraging them to attaining success. So believing and committing to yourself to what you believe, to me, is key in whatever you're doing. You will come across resistance, you will come across bully. I was bullied by my own family, I was bullied by the society, by the community. Some of them, the intention is good, is to at least expect when they want you to progress. And the funniest thing was there was this scenario where someone that was quite very dull in class, traveled and is abroad, and one time came back home and met me at the radio station and said, "Oh, what are you doing here?" And feeling classy, driving a car and all that. I said, "Well, I am serving my community." He said, "No, Amadou, come on, you should pass this." And bragging about the car and holding the car key and all that. I said, "Yeah, I understand what you're trying to do. Don't worry. You better try and go. Right? It doesn't work with me. When I am ready to be where you are, I will. For now, I feel that I have an obligation towards the community. I want to do that first." And I have inspired a lot of young people. I've molded young people to be at where above me. And I am proud of that. My time would come. And that was why in 2019, I thought it was time. And I could tell you, when I was resigning from Buyam Community Radio Station, it was, they are watching me. the entire community was gathered, and I had to do the retirement. I have to give out all the assets of the radio station, all the documents, hand over to the line manager who is going to take over from me and ensure that, you know what, this is all that I was able to do. Fila muna yem, am na opportunity fenen, opportunity you barila amount in my file. There are lots of resignation letters there that I attempt to resign, and I would say no, no, no. But I thought this time it was good. And something inspired me to resign. The madam operation in 2019. Operation Bobunono clicked something in me, because during that period I had no support, I had no help. Not even the community or the people that I was serving. I said a time would come like this again, and I would not have the resources or finances to help myself. It's about time I make up my decision to establish my finances. And that was, for me, the deciding moment. But until now, radio with Nangun Mabai, they said, you know what, Bena Tanka out, the other tanker has to stay. And that's why until today, I am still serving for Buyam Community Radio as their media coordinator. I coordinate their activities within the combos and the urban centers and bring them adverts and all that. So I am one leg out, one leg in.
Thank you so much, Uncle AMADOU. And I would like to ask this question, which is, what are the mistakes you did at the initial stage of your career journey? The mistakes that you did. There are younger people out there that will love to learn from you.
Yeah. The first mistake is ensuring that you accept failures as part of life. I almost tore my result, like I said, and I think that is a mistake. But at that moment, I was not in a complete state of mind. And thankfully, I have good people around me. And at a younger age, I was able to overcome that. So please, no matter what, failures are part of life. Failures is what makes you better. Look, treat every failure. I don't even call them failure. For me, I always like to call them shortcomings, right? Because it's not a failure. Because sometimes you need that kind of failure to motivate you to do something better, to learn and improve. If you keep, that is why even God that created us gives us two things in most cases. It's always a set. There's day, there's night, there's left, there's right, there's two legs, there's two hands, there's a reason for all this. In case one fails, the other would be there to inspire you to do better. For me, I take a failure as a shortcoming. Use it as an opportunity to inspire you, to spark your life again. That was my first mistake. Another mistake I did was not quite, I wouldn't say not living early, but also being over passionate. Okay, sometimes your passion could drive you to places that you may not belong. Okay, but you would think that you belong there, but you can never know where you belong unless you explore. So allow yourself to explore as a young person, because it comes a time where you have gained age and you want to explore, and it is too late. So explore, be it in your community, outside, all that. The other good thing about all this is ensuring when you're growing up, you're able to learn. It's a continuous learning. And learning, never am time. You cannot wait, like, for instance, me right now. Of course, it's not late for me to still enroll at the university or starting now. I meet most of my people, I mean, those that I've brought up, even the students I'm talking about, those that I taught, and they're already pursuing their master's, others are with their businesses. You know, there's already one that has pharmacies, and I would always go there for my, then I would say, oh, you're starting university now. He's already had 2 masters and he's now pursuing his PhD. So you could remember, you could imagine at what level that student, I mean, continued learning when I was still serving in community. Yeah, it's good, but please endeavor to do something for your communities. For me, that is the message I am going to send to young people. Bulen topa janga rek feko amulo ben impact. The reason for life is impacting people. Impact na nekun rek you remove money and be given to people. No, in any way, your knowledge, your skill, your advice, your service to the community, even settle that you would be doing or helping out elderly people in communities or any. We have institutions in our communities. You can always go at your free time when there's no school or you're not going to work. Go there and help out in your own way, because I believe everyone has a potential in one way or the other. So for me, that is why now, wherever I find myself, be it an organization, an association, a charity organization, I just fit in. Community, I always say this, I never wait to be invited to charitable organizations. I hear an initiative or an engagement there, I go and attend. and do my quota. If there's any media gadget or anything that concerns communications, man dama dañu participate. And people will like, "Ana ki mo fim jegi, ki kañ la ñëw?" I said, "Excuse me, man mo development oriented. I just saw this on social media or had this, and this is where I am." There was a certain experience that I had. I want to share it with you. I was very embarrassed that man ma tooñ, because I went to this program. They were organizing an advocacy program, and they were producing flyers, and their flyers weren't that good. They weren't good. So I reached out to the communication officer, and I said, "I think I can help in designing good flyers for you." And he was like, "Oh, no, don't worry, we can handle it." I said, "No, I think I should help." No, we can handle it. So I said, "Okay, no problem." I went to their Facebook page. I tapped in some of the information contents. My logo, my design flyer, "Bro, you don't need to do this. We are fine." No, he didn't even reply. But I was there. I was sending him messages, and I was sending him a strategic plan and program guide for their program. I was just insisting. "Bro, bro, man, development oriented. I am passionate about what you people are doing, and I think it's a good cause. And I think I just want to contribute. Man, book my but just share this, and I mean, the visibility will be there." No, but we got this, But bro, please, I know where you're speaking from. Don't worry, say correct. And at some point, he didn't share. So, for them to a point, the colleagues knew about this conversation and that. So they engaged me. One of their colleagues is a friend, and he called me. "Oh, you designed something for us." I said, "Oh, no, it's your guy that actually designed, and I just improved it, because I didn't want to take the credit, and I know where it is heading to." He said, "No, come on, and we know what he does and what you can do. This is your work. This is not his work." I said, "Okay, we did it together." And "No, please, we are invited to the program." So when I came to the program, I felt that I am taking someone's work, okay, and the person is not happy about it. So eventually I had to just sneak out and pretend to speak on telephone, and I just left. The message is, the reason I'm sharing this in public is, look, in as much as people want to compliment your efforts, receive it with gratitude and ensure that you're able to work, unless if there's a different agenda. Why the agenda is to help communities, help societies. We should embrace people's innovations and ensure that people are also ready to commit and add their inputs to the work that you do.
Thank you so much. I hope the younger generation out there learn from the mistakes that you did, and I hope they don't do that. And my last question is, what advice will you give to your younger self? What advice will you give to your younger self?
Wow. So I got married in 2014, 10 years. From graduating in 2008, I got married in 2014, and that again was an issue. I faced a lot of bully. "Boy, you're no, you all that." I said, "You know what? I am responsible." And for me, responsibility is very important. So if I were to advise my young me, I would say, "Young Amadou, I am very proud of the man that you've become. You've conquered it all." I was at a stage where no one believed in me. Not my family, not the society, not the people that I was even helping out, I was even serving. The reason being, for over 10 years, I was working for free. I was volunteering. And a smart guy with, the brains and all that, the innovations and all that. I could make mosquito repellent, toothpaste, oil. I was an inventor. I was more or less like a scientist. Just give me the facilities. Just take me into a lab. Let me have those things. I could invent anything that comes to my mind at that time. So imagine that kind of person volunteering in a community just radio station. My dad would tell me, talking is a skill, it's a natural skill, because your uncles are griots, right? So that is a waste of time. You should be doing medicine, and that was why he funded my education to senior secondary school. And from 2008, I would go to the bush. If it is mango season, the madam ajuji mango, come to Kamfenda checkpoint and sell mangoes in order to have my own lunch to school and my own uniform. If it is orange season, the madam si alaba, gor orange, jaiko. I've sold oranges, I've sold dita, I've sold kaba, during my childhood, just to ensure that I am able to survive. I've even sold mata. Did I say alaba? uti mata come. Those are experiences that I've experienced at a younger age to become where I am. When I came in 2019 with the Gambia Football Federation, whom I appreciate, now they have funded my university education and all that. Until now, I am still volunteering with a lot of organizations. I was just from QTV before coming here because we have this event happening on Saturday with the Media Run Challenge. I'm the Secretary General to the Media Run Challenge, also the head of media for the Fonyi Agency for Rural Development, FAD. We do festivals in Fonyi, and the Babsar Youth Development Communication and the Network of Community Radio Stations. That is the secretary to all community radio stations in the country. And, all those are voluntary services that I am doing as of today. But the travels that I've done across the world has actually helped me open up my eyes to keep inspiring people to do better. Because until now, I am still speaking to people that I've inspired across the world, and they're still talking to me about their journey. I remember this particular student that I inspired from a primary school. The father actually survived, but the mother died. Okay, from a very rural community, from a very poor background. And he had no sponsor, but very intelligent. So when I used to conduct this education forum in the radio station, and the education forum was very impactful. Kiang Keneba MRC eventually sponsored it by providing stationery for students and all that. So when I had or noticed the boys' score in grade 6, it was so good. I was inspired. I rode my motorcycle up to their community and interviewed this child with the parents. I said, I don't have the money, but I have a platform that could expose this boy to become something great. And then the parents conceded to it and said, anything you can do for us. I started interviewing the child, quizzing the child. Then he was a child. Then when he went to the upper basic school, he started growing and becoming better. I started bringing him into the studio. And then he would answer questions that literally you wouldn't believe or expect a child to answer. Because I would quiz him questions, and eventually, through an organization, I don't want to mention the names here, but then an organization heard him over the radio and reached out to me that, you know what, we think this boy could actually be an ambassador and represent us in some of these activities. So there are these quiz competitions happening around Fonyi and debate competitions. He started going there. I started facilitating those programs for him. Then he applied for Newsrat, and then he went to Newsrat to do his senior secondary school. By grade 11, he started the private WAS, and he got almost 7A and 2 B2s in his grade 11. By grade 12, he sat to the WAS again. It was excellent. He was super intelligent. And until then, I remember there was a day I still had to come all the way from Buyam to come to Newsrat just to speak to Mr. Bojang about the student, because that is what we call a developing story. You follow the story wherever it goes. For 15 good years, I was still following that story. That was how passionate about I was when I am fetching a story or doing a story. From primary 6 up till his Newsrat days, I went to Mr. Bojang, interviewed the boy, and played on the radio. And guess what? The boy was opportune to win a scholarship of 4 years, around $16 million. I'm sure maybe he could be watching, who knows. But then, when he traveled, I didn't stop. That was not the dead story for me. I still had to go for the story. And now I would call him on WhatsApp during my education forum and still keep interviewing him about his educational career. And this, in a way, inspired another generation coming up. And that generation, he was in UK, in Italy, in France, in United Arab Emirates, and currently he's in US. And the inspiration was that someone eventually followed again, a lady this time, the same norm, followed that story until she's also now in the US. So I keep following my stories, and until today, anytime I have an activity or an event that has to do with education, I remember that won me an award with the Gambia Press Union. I was in 2019 as the best community radio station. I used those entries, those inspiring stories, to win me the award as the best community radio station in the country. Because as a result of that, that is inspiring, that is impactful. You have impacted someone's life. If it were not for this tool, for this radio, you wouldn't have seen this person grow to this extent. So this is my advice for young people. Stay true to yourself. We are so unfortunate that, yes, this social media is good in a way, but it's also very bad in a way. Stop imitating what you see on televisions or what you see on social media. Stay true to yourself. Just because I just want to say this, like, I don't care how I speak, right? You don't have to slang your tongue to become a good English person. What is important in communication is ensuring that there's a common understanding. that you share a common meaning. If I am able to communicate, I could come and do it, But then, what is the essence? Stay true to yourself. Whether you're in the media or you're talking to people, just because you're young university or you're in school, yes, kuneka dafa buga mujanga to a level, mu prove society, appearance, Monday, now I am someone else. I've learned, I've read. But should that warrant you to change your tongue to become someone else? Stay true to yourself, and that is originality is key. That is one aspect of the advice I would give. Stay true to yourself and pick your career according to what you believe. The biggest mistake I also forgot to mention is when I was coming to Fatima, I was inspired by someone to do science because of my result. All A's, B's, and say, oh, you will become a good science student. My brother, look, sis, that is a very bad omen. You cannot just judge someone's career based on a paper. Get to provoke the person's intelligence and pay attention to your children. What do they do? Is your child always with a football playing around? Is your child always on a computer, tap, tap, tap? These attentions are very important because these details are key in ensuring that you're able to guide that particular child. So when I came with good results to Fatima, a brother to me actually, because he also eventually was sponsored by the former president to pursue his doctorate medicine at Cuba, and he looked at my result, you do the science field because there's art, science, and commerce. So your result is good, do science. That is not a good way to judge someone's career. Pick your career at a tender age. Now we have career counseling at schools, which is quite very good, and so that you are able to determine your career at an early stage and start working towards it. It doesn't matter what your paper tells you. Sometimes it's what actually your instincts and your brain and your capabilities tells you. That for me is all that would be my takeaway for this show.
Thank you so much, Uncle Amadou, and this is such an inspiring story. And as we all can see, Uncle Amadou is development oriented, and he serves his community too. So I think this is very important to younger generation out there. Serve your community. It's not all about learning. Learning is very important, but serving your community is also a significant thing for you and your community too. Thank you so much for watching, and do join us next time, Wednesdays, 11 a.m. Thank you.
Welcome to GMEB TV, your go-to source for exclusive news and stories from the Gambia. Stay informed and stay ahead with our expert analysis. And open your YouTube app, click the search bar and type GMEB TV.